No, I'm
Okay, we're recording now, everybody.
going to continue eating. I didn't
That's
even
all
get.
right. Hey, at least we're not watching Allison make dinner.
Yeah.
Oh,
She does that at courts meeting every week. Well, she used to. I don't know. I haven't been to courts in a long time.
I can hear you again.
Are you still making dinner during courts meeting?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
yeah, you.
Well, the time change is different now. It used to be we were in California, so I had that extra hour. So it varies this time around.
Hi, Karen.
Such a great picture of her.
It is. But she was only 23.
Okay.
She's coming on.
And there she
There
is.
she is.
Hi,
Karen,
Karen.
that's a great picture of you.
Wait, it takes a lot of time to pack and ship things, I have to say. It's like
Yeah, it
the
does.
first half of the day. And I didn't even have to wait in line or anything, but it's like, well, what did I do today?
So then you guys have.
Does anybody have experience walking in a boot?
No.
Okay.
You
Because
can
I'm
tell us what about.
no, I'm hoping that I won't have any problems walking, although I probably will, because I'm getting a ton of work, but anything that
Oh,
I have to photograph, I'm putting off till the beginning of January.
that makes sense. So you could heal.
Yeah.
I guess you'll just have to figure out the boot. I mean, see if it works.
Yeah, I know. And I also have a fiber artist that's going to be driving here and staying overnight for me to photograph her stuff. And we set it up for like January 2nd or 3rd.
Oh,
Why did you set it up for the same day as the jury?
Oh, when's the jury? The 3rd.
the third.
Right. So that's set up for the 2nd because I have it on my calendar. Yeah, so far I've only gotten 2 people sign up for the jury.
Oh,
Two
what? It's such a
victims, huh?
busy time of year. I wonder if it would be a good idea to push it back into mid-January
When is it not
because now
busy?
people, right? But
Uh,
somehow for a lot of people, the holidays are just a busy time because they have obligations and things like that. Um,
You know,
I don't know.
there are deadlines.
Yeah, I was gonna send it in because I wanted it feedback before like the St. Louis thing is due and some other things that are coming up.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna be sending in. I have kind of a new booth shot. So and some new work.
Oh, good. Can't wait to see it.
So yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe
Anything. If we can get over 10 or 15, then it's enough that people can learn from it.
Right. So on one of my show applications, they want an artist statement, like a bio, actually, and
You mean a
then
resume?
they also want a bio, not a resume, and they also want how you want your name listed on the application, like the name and then the town you're from. So I thought that was kind of weird.
The name listed is kind of common, to be honest with you.
What?
The name listed is kind of common. A lot of shows ask you how you want your name to be printed in the program.
The reason they want your town, it used to be then they would contact your local newspaper. But now it's probably for social media.
Wait, my phone stopped ringing. Sorry. So, but it's on the application, so the jurors don't see that, or?
No,
No.
they shouldn't. No, they shouldn't.
Oh, okay. Because
They-
someone had recommended that I write the bio in first person, and then my name is not there, which I did.
Yeah, bios are in first person. I had help with mine with it from an expert.
Right. I mean, they could
You
be
said-
in third person too. So, but the point is, if
Oh,
it's
in
first
first person.
person, then I
No, it
never
wasn't.
see.
I take that back because it was in third person.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so, I changed it to first person, so my name's not in it.
Allison, the only
Oh.
thing the jury sees is
Mhm.
the, excuse me, is the artist statement,
Right.
your number, the images, and then if the show allows it, they'll see the price, and the information will show the size.
So the artist statement, I wonder, I mean, the bio, I wonder why they want that.
Well, is it on
Well,
Juried
that's
Arts?
for-
Is it Juried Arts Services or ZAP?
It's Zap, it's Sun
Okay.
Valley.
Oh, okay.
That's
But that-
for promotion. For promotion, because I filled out the application already. That's for promotion. If you get to the show, they use it for promotion later on.
Okay.
That's
All right.
That's-
As long as,
That's exactly it, because it is impossible to get that information from an artist once they're accepted. I
I send
cannot,
it in, if if they request it, I send it in.
okay, you are one of the few. It is
Well, it's an
nearly,
it's an
nearly-
opportunity, you know?
I know,
I also do it.
it's nearly impossible to
Mhm.
get artists to send you anything once they're
Okay,
accepted.
well, I keep a cache of different types of statements, abbreviated ones, one that's more technical, one that's more inspirational. The whole
Yeah.
Megillah.
I do too. I have one with a picture of myself on it too.
With your new
Mm.
haircut,
No, well, it's the old haircut. That's the new haircut.
well, I like your haircut.
Thank you.
Quite cute.
The same person's been cutting my hair for a while. I didn't like it the first day I had it. It was all, it's now kind of wildish, you know, but it was too straight or something,
It looks good.
too dorky. Well, thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah, I used to keep a resume as a zip file on my computer that had a bio, 8x10 sized images of my artwork. And if I got into a show and they were interested in stuff like that, I would just email them the zip file.
And now they want videos. So I have a couple of those, but
Well, that's social media. That's
Hey,
that's where they're promoting it.
mhm.
Well, I will send them anything they want if they will promote me.
If they'll let you
Right.
show.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yep.
What do you people think of some of the more intrusive questions that some of these shows ask? That's like, I feel like saying, it doesn't matter and it's none of your business.
Like,
Well,
what's your
that's a
little- Do you
social
mean-
security number?
No, that, yeah. Well,
Do
no,
you
that,
mean
that
do
was
you
a
mean
little
your
harsh.
your not gender? What are they?
Yeah, well,
They
gender,
want to
they
want to
ask,
know
but
your
social, sexual preferences.
Not
So
sexual
How do you
preference.
identify yourself as?
Right,
oh,
right.
right. How
None
do
of
you,
that.
yeah.
None of that is relevant.
Right.
And
I
it's
always
probably
put
illegal to ask.
NA.
Well,
They're
Yeah.
probably doing it to actually make people feel inclusive, oddly enough. Although I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Blind jury is the only way
But
to
the
go.
jury doesn't see that.
Doesn't matter. It's there. Look at.
The show's information for their demographics. They're trying to prove to someone.
They don't have to prove anything to anybody. That's my point. It's only about the work. It's a blind jury. You have the best work, and if you don't have the best work, your show goes into a dumper. And there's only been 10,000 shows that have proved that.
But
It's
what the
just a
show-
sign of the time. It's a sign of the times that we live in right now.
That's a much better way to put it.
And
Yeah.
things change. Well, how do they change? By standing up and objecting to it instead of docilely following, being lemmings. Sorry. Listen,
But how do
that's
you
how we got
really?
Donald
How do you
Trump.
really feel?
That's how we got Donald Trump. You got lemmings that follow him. That's a perfect example of how it goes wrong.
Yep.
Sorry. I learned this in college. That's the way I am. I went to school.
If you
during
went
that
to
time
school
when the
now,
protest-
you'd be learning to use your pronouns.
Yes.
That's grade school.
No, now it's grad school has infected college, which has infected high school.
That's sad, Frank. It
It's true. It's very sad.
might be true, but I'm not, I can't go along
Well,
with that program.
but it's the whole reason behind it is important, because we're talking about people who are discriminated against. So for better or worse, that's the reason behind it.
got
Like
a
in my high
question.
school, there were people, there were gay people totally out of the closet, but
Nobody
it was
nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
right. Well, but I was New Jersey near New York City, so it wasn't,
It wasn't
a
any
big deal.
right?
Yeah.
I
But
don't know. I went to school. I went to grade school and junior high and high school in New York City, and there was definitely some amount of homophobia around. There was gay kids were in the closet in those days in New York
Yeah.
City.
well,
Where I lived,
Yeah.
it was harder being Jewish than being gay.
I remember we always had to make Christmas cards, and
Yeah,
and it
there you
just,
go.
and it was assumed, oh, how are you going to decorate your Christmas tree? And so, that was definitely kind of a, I was never thrilled with that time of year because of that.
Yeah. I still
I
get
mean,
it.
I never,
What'd you do
Well-
on Christmas? Where'd you spend your Christmas? In my studio working? I don't celebrate
Well,
Christmas.
well, we
Chinese
spent Christmas
restaurant.
Day in Chinatown. We
That's
spent
right.
Christmas Day in Chinatown.
That's right. That's
Yes. It was, all Jews and Chinese people.
right.
And there was the exotic ice cream store, which I loved. That was in Chinatown. And but we spent Christmas Eve at my mother's friend's house. Like, we were friends with their family, and we'd help them decorate their tree. And it was actually really nice. And they, it was this friendly thing. It wasn't an us
Yeah.
versus them. It was all,
Yeah. Yeah, we went next door.
Oh God.
So I became a fan of Elena Kagan when they asked her where she was on a Christmas Day, and she said probably in a Chinese restaurant at her Senate hearing for Supreme Court.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Got a question.
the other thing is, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry.
No,
What
it-
show sent you an email saying to you the jury has concluded, but they don't tell you if if you got into the show, you didn't get into the show.
What was your question?
Bayou City sent an email today saying, "Thank you for applying to the Bayou City Art Festival Memorial. The jury has concluded. I'm working on organizing the results. You will be notified on Friday." And like,
Really?
Yeah.
Usually they send those before the jurying and they remind you when the jurying is.
I mean, why didn't they just send the jury results?
that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Just tell me if I can, or not. Now,
Right.
now we
Was the deadline for them to give the jury results today?
No, it's on Friday. It's
Okay,
on
then
Friday.
it was just an update.
Yeah, I can see that, but it's more like I'm going like, oh, they gave it in earlier, so I'm opening it. And nope, because This is different.
They
between-
actually spent money mailing this to you in paper?
No, it's an
No,
email.
email.
But,
Okay.
but even the time it takes to do that, I would not. I don't know.
I don't know,
It's just-
somebody pushed the button.
Yeah,
Doesn't take any time.
it's just interesting. Other than that, I'm looking forward to go to Florida. I'm going to be dying and miserable the next week. It's going to be cold. You're going to get snow. I don't want to be in your shoes, Barry. You're going to have like a 10 feet of snow next week. And you didn't
No,
know
I don't
that?
think so. The snow's been missing us, but we've had like a few inches. There's snow right now. But no, the worst part is the gloomy gray days that's outside.
See, that's what we had snow yesterday, and it's sunny and bright today, and it's all melting, which is really nice. But
Yeah.
it just makes a huge difference.
I was in a
So
Zoom
speak-
meeting at 8:30 yesterday in the morning, and we'd had snow the day before, and one of the guys in the meeting was saying, God, it's so beautiful out with all the trees covered in white and the white sky and the white ground. And then it all melted, so we're all very happy about that too.
Right. So speaking of Florida, I'm going to be teaching in Dunedin, which is near Clearwater. And does
Dunedin?
anyone know that area?
Dunedin.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to go a little early, and I'm just trying to figure out. So my niece is in Tampa, but I want to go to the Dolly Museum and then the Holocaust Museum, which are in St. Pete's.
Yeah.
So
And you can
would
go
it be
to
better?
there's a Thomas Edison thing a
Oh,
little further south.
and then there's the Ringling Museum, which
Where are you staying?
I'd like to go to. Well, I'm teaching in Dunedin, so
No,
Dunedin.
they'll get a place.
Allison, it's
Yeah,
Dunedin.
Dunedin.
Dundee. Okay,
Dunedin.
so I'm teaching in Dunedin.
Dunedin.
Yes.
Yes.
Dunedin. Okay, so I'm teaching there, so I'll be staying there. But prior to that, I'm kind of thinking either Tampa or St. Pete's. I don't know. And my niece is in Tampa, but all the places I want to go are kind of by St. Pete's or south. And then an old college roommate of mine that I haven't seen in 30 years is going to come up from Naples. So
Try
I
and find
don't know
people to
anything.
Hey, Allison, try and find people to stay with because the hotel rooms in Florida are insane right now. I couldn't believe the prices.
I looked at Airbnbs in Tampa and they were okay. So
You can tell that you don't go that often over there because the prices are like a double what it was this year.
Yeah, double what it was
They are
last
really, really,
but
really
I just
expensive.
I just looked though for Tampa for February.
No, I say to you that if it's fine if you think it's fine, if you can afford it's not a problem. But what I'm saying to you, compared to what it was this year to now, it's like a twice more. Like
But hotels are
Plus.
more expensive in general. So
Yeah, but in Florida, people are that have been had to be evacuated out of their homes because of the hurricane are staying in
right.
places too. So it's getting a
Mhm.
room is at a premium too.
Yeah.
Right. So, but given a choice though, in that region, where would you stay?
You basically just an hour away from everywhere you want to go. So I would just pick up a center point and just
Tampa.
yeah. It will be like it's going to be, imagine you back in San Francisco and you want to go to Santa Barbara. That's basically that's the radius you're talking about.
That's 7 hours away.
No, no,
Well,
no,
Santa
no.
Barbara is
Santa
only
Barbara
2
is 7
hours
hours.
away. It's only
You can
2
Santa
well,
Barbara
hours.
listen,
is,
I'd stay in Tampa
yeah. I mean,
I'd
there were
stay
plenty
in
of places in Tampa.
or Bradenton.
You would?
Or
Where?
No, maybe
Braden-
Bradenton might
what?
be far. I'd stay in Tampa. Or St.
Hey,
Pete?
Oscar, Santa Barbara's Southern California.
No. Santa Barbara is
Santa
between
Barbara,
but it's between San Francisco and LA. How can that be?
San Francisco to LA is like 5.5 to 6 hours.
Maybe he
Santa
means
Barbara's
Santa Cruz.
Santa
south.
Barbara is in between
Santa
those
Cruz.
two towns.
Maybe you mean Santa Cruz?
Yeah.
No, Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara is
Santa
in Southern
Barbara-
California.
Right.
South.
Okay, I'm going to look at it.
Santa
That-
Barbara
might
is
be
north of
the-
Los Angeles.
That's distracting from Allison's question, where to stay.
Yeah, that's,
Let's
I
stay in
mean,
Tampa.
that's like a 70-hour drive.
Look at
She
Dunedin.
likes to drive. She's not going to be driving as Eric is going to be driving. I don't know.
Wait a
what
minute.
she's
No,
complaining
no,
about.
we're flying.
Stop.
No, we're flying. We're flying. They pay for my flight anyway, and I have flight credits I really need to use before they expire. So we're flying, and it's like I don't know, a 26-hour drive from here. So, and I don't really have the time. So,
You could stay in Dunedin.
well, that's where that's where we're staying for the class. But prior to that,
If you look at a map, Dunedin, St. Pete's, Tampa
Yeah.
are all kind of in the same location. They're
Clearwater.
they're close, but they're not close. I mean,
Yeah, Clearwater.
traffic.
I guess I'd like to know which would be the most fun place to stay. I'm not, into
Disney World.
kind of touristy part. Definitely not Disney World.
You said fun, most fun place. Oh, okay.
Call Bill Kinney and ask him if he has an extra room in his house.
Who?
Bill Kinney.
I don't know him.
Allison, I would do St. Pete.
Okay.
St. Pete's
It's close to
Beach.
the water, so there's lots of
Mhm.
fun stuff going
And it's
on.
also right near the places I want to go, and then it's also to go to the Ringling Museum. It's kind of in that,
Yeah,
That's Sarasota, isn't it?
yeah.
You're right. 5 hours and 30 minutes. But it's before LA.
Yes, you're right. It is before LA.
That's
It's where the Brooks Photography School used to be.
Yeah, that's what I because I got accepted to that school. So that's what I know the area.
Yeah, that's a good school. It's too bad they closed.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got sued out of existence, basically.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
They were sued because they were promising jobs, and they were
Oh,
overly. They were promising jobs to people and promising salaries to people that were not realistic, and they got sued
Uh-huh.
over it.
that's pretty foolish, boy. But it is a shame. We used to go when we passed through there. We'd go to the galleries there and everything. Santa Barbara is a very pretty town.
I took
Well-
I went through and thought about going to the Art Center that's in Pasadena.
so I'm looking for a block of rooms for the garage sale,
yeah.
which has become very interesting. I work with the local tourist association, I guess it is.
CVB.
Excuse me. It's called Discover Kalamazoo. They've always been so good. This time, it's like they're ghosting me. And
Oh,
I look at the places the place we stayed last time. Last time we had the show was in 2020. And the hotel room was brand new hotel, $89. Really nice hotel. Right now, I think it's 148.
oh boy.
You know,
And you would think at that time of year, what's going on in Kalamazoo,
well, it
Part of
turns
it's they're shorthanded.
a lot of sporting events.
In February?
Yeah,
I was about to say,
Yeah.
is there some kind of sports tournament in town that weekend?
not that I've been able to find.
They have a hockey team,
Yeah,
minor league hockey team, I think.
but it's infuriating because I keep waiting, calling, and
And they're
Well-
not getting back to you.
Call the local sports teams and see who they use for motels when they have events.
well, what they stay in versus what we will stay in is very different. Because there are some no-tell motels around there that I don't want my artists staying in them.
Yeah, my wife
Mhm.
had a thing about she wouldn't stay in any motel with a number in its name.
Wait a minute. The hockey players stay in the nicest places. The team pays for it. It's part of the overhead. They don't stay in like flea bag places. They stay in really
Minor
nice
league
places.
teams stay in fleabag
So-
places.
I
Yeah.
wonder if there's some, I mean, I guess, what are the dates of your event?
Mhm.
February 25th. So we need
So
room
it-
on the 24th.
So that's not spring break or anything yet, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
And we've never had trouble, even when big sporting events were going on. So,
Well, I don't know. Everything is so, people here keep telling me to go to this place, this Japanese restaurant, and it's a hotel and everything called 10,000 Waves, and it's like rooms are like $400 and $500, and then the restaurant is really expensive, and I mean, I just don't know. Well, I guess the people who go there can afford it, but yeah, it's maybe you can find several Airbnb houses. I mean, something like that.
When Fort Myers sent out their thing about hotels and where to stay, they were all $300 a night, $299.
Oh my God.
ooh,
See, that's horrible. And
I'm looking at
the thing is, it's
who's
like,
going to stay there,
right.
I'd rather stay in my van.
well, I'm
Bonnie, how
hoping
many-
that people,
How many
People-
rooms, Bonnie?
pardon?
How many rooms?
I think we're looking for 40 to 50.
You may just have to get on the phone and start calling.
Yeah,
don't-
That's power. That's power. You tell them, we can fill your place. It'll be empty. You could make some money, but this is what we need. We can't be over a certain price.
yeah. No, I've,
Done that?
yeah,
They
yeah.
don't care.
I know the drill. I had one of them tell me that they could make the reservations, but there may not be a room available once we got there.
Well, that
Ex-
just defeats the whole
Excuse
purpose. I mean,
me?
that's just,
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
mean,
what happens
that's
when.
a point.
Go on.
It's a pointless statement to say you can make a reservation, but you don't have a reservation, basically.
exactly.
You know what Karen with us with the Marriott, they give you the rate. I think it's $80 a night, and plus tax. But you have to pay the reservation by certain day to secure the price. Then
Oh.
after that, it's regular price. Like you can tell everybody, if you don't book the room by January 31st, they have to pay full price or find someplace else. That way the hotel doesn't lose and you guys don't lose. That's a compromise. And that makes sense.
Jeez.
You look concerned. You look concerned, Bonnie.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
just,
a problem.
Do you
I
have a
don't-
mailing list of patrons?
do I have a what?
Mailing list of patrons.
Yes, 6,000 strong.
Why don't you send out an email to your mailing list and ask them if they could put up any of the artists?
I thought about that, but the liability part,
Hmm.
you know, if we were a big nonprofit or a big deal, whatever, but it's just two artists putting it on, and I kind of like my house.
Oh, then let them stay at your
Hey,
house.
so we're all gonna stay at Bonnie's. Oh,
Right.
thanks, Bonnie.
Mhm.
Well, the problem is you would all be welcome here, but I don't live in Kalamazoo.
So,
Did Connie sell her house?
I don't know. Oh, the one in Coldwater?
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
Okay.
not even close.
yeah, I know.
close either. So
Well,
I
you
tried
know,
to
I
get-
have been reading that, you know, so many people got laid off from hotels at the beginning of the pandemic, and a lot of them found other jobs, and that the hotels are having a really hard time getting staffed, especially because it's really hard to get immigrant labor. So it just could be that they just don't have the capacity simply because they don't have the people.
That's an interesting thought.
You know, a lot of those people actually found other jobs, and they said, "Oh, I don't have to get harassed by patrons."
Yeah, they became artists.
Mhm.
And they
Ugh,
do get harassed by customers.
I'm gonna sleep in my booth.
You cannot do that.
I don't know if they'll let you. I'm trying to think.
Well, of course not, but I don't know. It
But
just
it's
came
not-
into my head.
Oh,
I have a picture of this big tent city in the parking lot where artists have to stay because they can't afford to stay and pay the $300 for a room or 100. Well, 148 ends up being 200. So
And
Wow, I just pulled up hotels.com and was scrolling through it. Baymont is not, I mean, it's almost Hotel 8 or whatever kind of quality. It's a step above that. They want $136 to $140 a night.
it
It's
is.
pocket change
they
for
all
it.
do.
I mean, that's a
Oh,
well,
I
the
don't
other,
know. We
wait,
have
you,
stayed there. That used to be our show hotel. It used to be really nice. It is the biggest dive now. I wouldn't let my worst enemy stay there.
okay, here's another option. Send out a list of accepted artists to all the artists and tell them that the only way they'll be able to afford hotels is if they share.
Yeah, I considered that.
I have a question. What percentage of people are local artists that are participating?
Probably a good percentage. That's why
Really?
it might work if the artists wanted to host another artist.
Because yeah, maybe you could suggest
Who's local?
if artists want to host and you know, people could put their requests in if they're allergic to cats or whatever the case may be.
Right. And
Well,
we have a Facebook page where you can go in and ask questions, and that would be the perfect thing, you know, go in and ask, anybody want to host me for a night?
Hey, Bonnie,
Right.
everybody I know is from somewhere else that's at the show.
Yeah, it's not filled with local people.
Comfort Inn downtown, Bonnie, how bad is it?
I don't know anything about the downtown hotels. Is that the one attached to the convention center?
It just says Comfort Inn downtown University area. It's rated 7 out of 10, and they're showing $103 a night.
I don't know.
It's a little ways away, but it's not that bad.
See, I always try to get the very closest hotels,
Yeah.
just in case the weather's bad.
Yeah.
Are any of the hotel rooms actually suites? Because that's easier to get several people into.
Yes.
But then there's the whole concern with COVID and flu and all that, but that's another can of worms.
4 to a room.
Hey, I remember doing Coconut Grove and sharing the room with 3 or 4 other photographers. Only one photographer had his own room because he slept in the walk-in closet.
Hey, that was it, Larry. That was an age thing. In those days, you wanted to stay with other people.
Only to save money.
Yes. We did that for Boston Mills one year. It was Pat and John Hecker, myself, and Mike Taylor.
Really? Where
We
did you
shared-
stay?
I don't know, but it was a really big room.
That Holiday. There's a Holiday Inn. There's the.
No,
Yeah.
it was a extended stay of some sort. And so
Well, the thing is,
it had a kitchen and a sofa bed, and I think
Why you bugging me?
brought a cot. We had a ball. Oh my gosh,
I mean,
it was fun.
artists can look also though for, 2 or 3 bedroom houses, maybe. I mean, it's 40 or 50 people, it's a lot, but maybe that's another option that might be,
Well,
cheaper.
luckily artists are very resourceful.
True.
Really
Yes.
interesting about this. I'm trying to. There's no. Oh, I'm sorry. 739 West Michigan Avenue.
I don't know where that is.
That's all off of I-94, and
I-94 and Main Street.
yes. So how far? And the show's not near. It's near, but what, 10 miles from there? Maybe.
I don't know. The show is north of 94 off
Yeah.
Sprinkle Road.
Yeah. But it's a ways. Not. I mean, not.
Yeah, but you could go through town very easily. Or you could get on 94. And
Yeah. Well, the Ann Arbor people will be coming from 94.
yeah,
That area. I'll be coming from the north. Wait a minute. I'll be coming from the south. No, I'm leaving Florida right after Coconut Grove to come to. It's a week later.
I love that. Thank you, Barry.
I will say my blessings with you, Barry.
No, this. I take that back. It's not 94 that it's off of. It's
131.
no. It says 94, but it's like a alternate. Let me zoom in.
Oh, business route 94.
Yes. Business Route 94 and Main Street.
Okay, that's closer.
Cross Street I can find is like Academy and Western Edge.
Westnedge, yeah.
Yeah, that and Academy, it's close from there.
Westnedge is a major street.
Yeah, it's that Business 94 and Main Street's where it is.
Yeah. Well, I'd go for it if I can't get my second person at Discover Kalamazoo to come up with something. But I'm gonna do some calling around tomorrow.
Days Inn and Suites. That
No.
looks like the old place.
Yeah. No. Well, you may have different sensibilities than I do.
Yeah, no, the Red Roof Inn is $77 a night, but it looks like a questionable place.
That's
No,
right.
that-
My wife
that
said no,
was the-
no numbers or colors, right?
That was
Or
the
colors. I didn't.
We had some artists stay there relatively recently, and they said that it was a very active, a very active location.
No, thanks.
2-hour motels.
No, oh, no, thanks.
Come on, Barry, you might get lucky.
Getting
That-
lucky would be not staying there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
Lord.
Bonnie, which of these neighborhoods, Kalamazoo Central District, Central Business District, Vine, West Main Hill, Western Michigan University, or Stewart?
I don't know any of them.
Grand
We are-
Rapids.
We are on the east side of Kalamazoo.
Northeast. Right?
Yeah, kind of.
Northeast.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question. 4 nights in a row, I had my iPhone totally lose network services after I finished using the magnetic charger.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever experienced that?
No.
Where I had to go to Sprint on my laptop, and I couldn't even log into my account because they wanted to send a verification code to my phone, which wouldn't accept texts or phone calls. But I was able to get through to them in chat, and they walked me through resetting the network settings, which worked the first time, but it didn't work the second time. I had to do it. They had to do something on their end, but it happened again. So last night I used a regular plug into the phone to charge it because I was afraid. I mean, I'm stuck here alone and all I have is that phone for communication. And then all of a sudden it's become unreliable.
When you use the regular charger, was it okay?
Yeah.
So you probably have a defective magnetic charger.
You think so?
I think so.
You talking about a C-type?
Well, whatever the phone takes, whatever the plug is.
Well, there's two different types. There's the USB-A and USB-C.
No, it's not a USB. The iPhone has their own proprietary.
It's Lightning.
Well, it's Lightning now.
Oh, well, that's on the other end, but to
Right.
plug it in.
Oh, it's USB when you plug it in.
Yeah, or you can get a USB C-type charge, which is a faster charge. Isn't that what everybody uses? What's this other thing, this magnetic thing?
It's you just lay the phone on and then it charges.
Oh, that. Oh,
And I actually have a second one. I'm gonna try that tonight.
yeah, I have a regular one that you like it stands up and you stick it in there on there.
And I'm thinking about it, and there's a level of, really it would take an electrical engineer to come up with anything approaching a reasonable explanation. But it certainly strikes me that a flaw in the phone, in one chip in the phone, or a flaw in one chip in the charger could explain that.
Right. Or wait until there's a software upgrade.
You know,
Well,
the other thing
that could matter too. Yeah, software definitely could be a thing, but it's very hard to make a perfect computer chip at the level of complexity they make computer chips these days. And one infinitesimally small short circuit can affect the functioning of the phone in a way that would be really hard to detect in the quality assurance process.
He's in pain.
Hmm?
He's in pain.
I think he's going to
Oh.
show us his equipment.
But I was going to tell you, Larry, that I have one for my iPhone and works. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't work. And somebody told me I need to take it out of my auto case to make it work constantly.
Eh,
Yeah, I don't.
they solved that one a long time ago.
So
Yeah,
That
I
problem
have
doesn't
a
exist.
second charger right here. I'm gonna bring it in the bedroom and try it tonight.
We can't see it. Show it to us.
What, the magnetic charger?
Whatever.
It's a magnetic disc.
get with the program, Barry. You're still behind. That's new.
Hey, I use the C-type charge. It's a really fast charge.
Yeah, but you still have to plug it in. It's not just to go to your desk and now
Well,
you just
this
drop
is-
the phone with that and done.
It's C on the other end. It goes into the block,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's still a magnetic circular plate that the phone sits on.
So Karen, I got a question for you. You have to unmute your phone.
Okay, here I am.
Okay. I'm not assuming they're going to get in, but just in the wild shot. Do you think if I just get to somebody and hide there, so that's a good combination just to make the trip, or actually combine it with Iron the Peril? If I don't, because basically I apply to Park City, High Desert, Sun Valley, and Iron the Peril.
You do Park City and Sun Valley back to back. It's only
Yeah.
like a six hour drive or something like that from Park City to Sun Valley.
Yeah.
But I
And
think
then-
there's a weekend in between Sun Valley and Bend.
Yeah, so the question is, if you get to, say that I don't get to Park City, say that for X, Y reason I get to Sun Valley and High Desert, that's worth the trip, in your opinion?
How am I supposed to know?
Right.
Just tell me, be honest with me. I don't know to hold it against you, David, and
right.
Carla.
Well,
Oscar,
the
Oscar,
two
I've-
shows I would gamble on would be Art in the Pearl and Art in the High Desert. And because they're consecutive weekends, you can make a plan.
Okay.
As far as the time and distance, I just know that times are not like they were before, but Art in the Pearl and Art in the High Desert are going to be your best bets for shows to apply to in the Northwest. I used to apply to the July show of the Bellevue Art Museum. I'm not as thrilled about it anymore. I haven't gone in a couple of years. But again, that's a different calendar month.
Yeah, and I want to do that show
Right.
anyhow.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, Art in the Pearl and Art in the High Desert both have high standards about who they want in the show.
Okay.
And I'm excited about that. If we've all had experience at shows that we love, and we're hoping to bring all that information to this one. And this will be our first year, and I was thinking about it today. It's like, what do we need to do to get people to apply, get people to come? And the best thing we can do is do enough advertising to get the buyers to this new location. It's not far from the old place, but again, if we do our job successfully, and I think we will, we're hoping that it'll be a great show. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's the first year for the new team to put it on. I've always held the St. Louis Art Fair as the show I would like to do and apply to, and have been in several times. And I hope that we can meet that same kind of standard. of taking care of the artists and excellence.
Does it have the same name as before, or is it
Yes.
a brand
Art
new
in the High
name?
Desert.
Oh, that's the show?
Same logo, same colors. Yes, Art in the High Desert, but we are, version 2 because we've had to move the location. The old location is just not available anymore.
It sounds like new location is so much better than the old location.
Oh, it sure does. It's gonna it satisfies my criteria. And I think because I'm a little bit older now, I'm also going to be looking at, is this going to be easy for me? Is it going to be handicap
Yeah.
accessible? Are we going to have those kind of pathways that you can have a wheelchair on? Yes. And I'm very encouraged by that.
That's
So the other thing that was rolling around my head with the responsibility of being part of this new art fair team is, what do we as artists really want so that we want to return to that show? Number one is you want to have the people
Sales.
there making sales. But number two, I think we want to have an easy load in and load out. Number three, we want a few basic services provided that are easy for us to get to, whether that would be restrooms or food vendors. That just makes our life a lot easier. And I was just thinking, the last thing that I do like about Art in the High Desert is the way that Carl and Dave Fox would come around and they would check on every single one of us. So we had a
Yes.
face-to-face relationship. How are you? What's new? Is everything going okay? And so I think that's also really important. So we'll
I agree.
be able
But
to
I just
meet
want to
that
add one other, I'd like to add one other thing. The hours of Art in the High Desert in the past have been also really nice.
Yes.
So, these shows that go until 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, it becomes at St. Louis, I think after dark, it's more social than sales.
Right.
But that's the
I-
other part of that community event. Yeah, I
Right.
think the other thing that we're working on as an art fair is to develop a new relationship with the community. So we're thinking about a lot of possibilities and hopefully we'll do a good job.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. And I will say, like Oscar, I've done Art in the High Desert quite a few times. I did the inaugural show a long time ago. And the one nice thing is that I wasn't just selling easy things. So, I sold showpieces there. And so it's nice that people are interested in things that are, a little more, the bold pieces and that kind of thing.
There are
I've also
collectors
been
that come to
able-
the show. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's also the resort people. There are people from like California that come up to resorts and I've also had a good return customer sort of situation there too. And from show to show. I can speak to Sun Valley, by the way, because I've done that show probably at least 15 times. And I've never had a zero show there. Some have been great, some not. It's a really, really, really slow show. It is like the 0.0001%. So it's a matter of who walks by. And I've had things like where people come there to buy their Christmas gifts in August, so they'll buy like 3 pair of my earrings, but I have sold showpieces there too. And I have built up a clientele there, but it's a very, very slow show. A lot of people call it a filler show. I haven't done it for the last 2 years, but like during COVID, a customer of mine all year, she ordered things from me from that show. So it's definitely a risk because there aren't that many people. When you don't have enough people at a show, you may not even have the opportunity. On the other hand, people there have money and they have big houses, and they're from Seattle, Brooklyn. It's definitely, even the kids are, the kids, the young teenagers walk around on their own and are pretty sophisticated as far as talking about art. So, you know, I would just say, you know, it would be a gamble, just because you don't have the quantity of people.
Okay. I just apply. I got to apply to my regular shows that I do in August, but I just applying it to see if I get in. And to a couple of them, I will give it a try. See, I don't have no high expectation or hope to get in, but you know, I will see what happens. It's more about, you know, do something different because
Right.
why not? You know.
Karen, you've done, I know you've done Sun Valley. Would you say that's a pretty accurate
Yeah, it
assessment?
was a kind of a curious show. I've done it a couple times. I won an award one year. I remember it was hot, which is always hard for me as a wearable artist. But again, when you do get those clients, you know, money really isn't a factor.
Right.
We enjoyed staying there. It was different. I also remember I was not able to hire help for me, which is usually something I need to do to load in and load out. And therefore that makes it more difficult for me that I can't, you know, access people ready to come with the load in stuff. But I do agree, it's a smaller crowd, but those who buy come to buy, and they bring people through, and you know, they're in, I don't know if it's a board or a community event or whatever, but these women came through as a group wanting to see the new stuff, the best stuff, and that encouraged sales too. Yeah, there's some great
So
restaurants. It's worth it to go for the restaurants.
So it used to be run by the Art Center for 50 years.
Yes.
And now it's privately run.
Yes.
And I haven't done it since the new person has run it, but there used to be the high school kids. The football team used to help everyone load in.
Well, I was there
prior.
when Art Davies was running it, and I was there the first year, and it was kind of humorous. I remember he tried to orchestrate Teardown. He wanted us all to kind of, you know, just do it his way. And after a point, you know, it becomes chaos, and we all just came in and did what we needed to do, and everybody was polite about moving to get out of the way to get out. But I thought it was pretty humorous that he tried to orchestrate it, but it really didn't work.
Right, right.
Yeah, there was one show I did at Sun Valley where it was so hot, the artist next to me started to have symptoms of heat stroke. He didn't have a canopy that covered him because his work was more sculptural. And I was really concerned about that. So the sun can be very intense. So be prepared.
And the altitude people aren't used to.
Right. I'm at sea level. So the altitude makes you a little dizzy sometimes when you're exerting yourself.
I often, you know, hand out nun tablets to people, the electrolytes at, you know, certain shows. For me now, that's lower than where I live. So, but it's Denver that always got both Eric and I, especially Eric, during Cherry Creek, because it's very polluted. Denver is like, the air is very toxic, and so you have the altitude and then that toxicity. So it could be really bad there.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I have learned that when I do shows at altitude, I try to go one night ahead. So I have time to adjust to the altitude. I did that for show and tell Telluride. It was at 9,000 feet, which was the highest elevation I've ever done an art fair.
Yeah. Right. But Crested Butte is also up there.
Yes. So you really need to have one night at slightly lower elevation before you go all the way up and then start putting up your booth. It's a challenge.
I remember at Crested Butte, I did a demo. I said, if you can get me a torch, I'll do a demo. And I was out in the sun, and it was a leaky acetylene torch. And I had a card table, which was very shaky. And I remember there were people who stood there for 45 minutes watching me, and I couldn't see a thing because it was so bright. It's very hard to solder if it's too bright out, you know, and somehow I made an earring. And when I stood up, I just sat right back down. But yeah, Oscar, Crested Butte is also the weekend before Sun Valley. But unfortunately they moved it from the charming Main Street to the parking lot of the elementary school, and I
Oh.
have not done it there, but I know some people are some people I know are taking a break.
I've
So
looked at doing
that was a
show.
nice.
Yeah, I looked at doing that show. I heard the same thing. If they'd moved the location, then I was less inclined to apply. But I thought it would be a good show for what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really could be. And you know, even weather-wise, you'd be good. And it's so gorgeous. There's
Mhm.
just north of town is a wildflower biological study site that's been there for 100 years.
I'd love to see that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Things are going to be a
So-
little different for me this year. I have put spring shows out of my mind. I just need some time
Right.
to get strong and recover. And so I think I am a little wiser about how long it really takes when you have major surgery. So I'm going to apply to summer shows and fall shows.
When are you going to do your surgery?
January 19, if everything goes well.
You don't get COVID again?
I got it last month, thank you, and I don't want to do that again.
Oh my God.
I'm finding the effects of having COVID more than once. The after effects are can be a problem. I'm dealing with it right now.
So you've had it
that's scary.
twice.
I have probably had COVID. Okay, I had it once for sure with a test.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure I had it a second time because my wife got sick about 2 weeks after I was sick, and she was donating blood and came back with antibodies for it. And this was really early on. I've felt ill a couple of times in between that may or may not have been COVID. But the last time was a time that I had the test and had it diagnosed, and that was, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And, you know, I came back, but I'm still only about 80% of physically where I was before I had it.
Oh boy.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, Court. Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked my primary care provider about getting it twice, and she said, oh yes, even though she's in the medical field, she and her family have had it twice. And it's like, that's just not good news for me.
And the reason I know is because my part-time job at Target was extremely physical. I mean, I was literally moving box by box, thousands of pounds of freight a few times a week, and I had no problems doing it. I mean, if it was a huge truck, yeah, it was, but I had no problems. After I had COVID and I came back and started doing it, up until we stopped that method, I won't say it was a struggle, but I never felt like I could work as fast or do as much as I could before.
Wow.
And that was up to probably 2 to 3 months after.
Hey guys, I'm starting to feel pain in my leg.
Okay,
And
It's after 5 anyway.
Yeah, it's after 5.
yeah,
So-
yeah. Well,
Take care of it.
Larry, good to see you, and you take
Nice
care
to
of
see you,
yourself.
Larry.
Yeah, Larry.
See you
Bye.
next week.
Feel
Hopefully
better,
it'll be
Larry.
better next week.
Hope so. Yeah.
Take care.
Reach out if you need anything.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah,
Bye.
you will be better next week. A whole week.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.